When our founding fathers risked their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to create this republic, they never intended for one man, be it king or president, to have unchecked power over the American economy. But what we're seeing now, it's not freedom, it's not leadership. It's centralized overreach cloaked in deals and emergency powers. Now, I just watched a video clip, some big names in Congress throwing shade at the current administration's reckless use of tariffs and trade restrictions. You might think, but tariffs protect America. And yes, in principle, they can. But only when used with strategic purpose, not as some willy-nilly weapon that hurts our farmers, our consumers, and yes, even our allies. Let's break it all down. Stick with me, patriots, because what I'm about to share, it matters for your wallet, your freedom, and your future.
In good part because of the tariffs. Yes.
My question is related to what you just said, which is you've had two IEPA votes. One passed, one probably would have passed if White House and McConnell had been.
Would have passed.
But at any rate, my question is, given these earnings reports that we're having, and given that the deals have resulted in substantially higher tariffs, do you think that there could be movement among Republicans so that you could get a veto-proof majority, which of course you would need to actually end the IEPA tariffs if the courts do not?
Well, I'll call on Maria for a minute because she had a bill to put it back in Congress where it was, and I think 7 Republicans joined it.
Yeah.
Maria.
Well, and also if you could touch on Section 338 and 122 in case IEPA is overturned in the courts. Is there something Congress should do about these other archaic?
Well, the courts are looking at these issues now, and the lower court, as you can see, basically said there was nothing in what the president was trying to say from emergency perspective, and we don't think he's following the law as it relates to 301 or any of these. When you do tariffs like this, you have to have detailed economic analysis of the damage and the cause and then make a point, because trade is about world trade rules and order, not about just making something up, whoever's president. I mean, that's what distinguished, even back in England, they were like, no, we're not giving this power to the king, because people realized in the founding of our country that that's a dangerous thing to have a king or a president have this ability, because it is basically a tax. So they wanted to have a legislative body do this. So I think that they have not proven their use of these tariffs in any of the, I know they think, you know, that Secretary Lutnick said he could fall back on 301, but you really have to have a very detailed case on 301. So listen, I represent 2 big companies in the state of Washington, Boeing and Microsoft, who just had great earnings reports. Why did they have great earnings reports? Because they're investing in next generation technology and they're selling into a global market. Okay, the president is proposing a contraction of us doing that. He's not proposing, he's cutting all the science and R&D. He's cutting all the things that said come to the United States and make these things. And as my colleagues just mentioned, he's making all our allies mad. So they're thinking, well, how do I counter the United States? Instead of saying, this is a global market, lots of opportunity. How are we going to reach those markets? How can we get our products into those markets? And so the cost on the American consumer, and I think the president thinks, oh, well, somehow they'll come back. You might force some elements to come back, but at what cost? And the growth that we've had in a global expansion is 95% of consumers live outside the United States. The United States should be attracting the best and brightest, making the best and the best products, and selling that on a global stage, not this contraction.
And do you think you can get more Republicans on board to check these powers?
Well, so yes, I do, because my Republican colleagues have said, let's see the deals. And now, while there's a lot of trumpeting of these deals,
So to speak.
they are handshake deals. You know, the Wall Street Journal called them willy-nilly. I just think they don't represent the scope of what my colleagues, when you think about the first Trump administration and what happened with China, where they didn't follow through anyway, and our farmers were hurt, and then they came to Congress and said, you cough up the money to make our farmers whole, which taxpayers ended up doing. is not what I think my Republican colleagues have in mind. So I think as these details of these deals become clearer to them, I think you probably will hear more from them.
Tariffs gone wild. We heard it clearly. Massive tariffs have been slapped on with little economic analysis or justification. And while we all want to protect American industries, this scattergun approach is causing pain at home. Prices go up. Our allies look elsewhere. American consumers are left to pay the price. Where's the logic? Where's the plan? Even Republicans are waking up. Now, here's the twist. Some GOP lawmakers are starting to push back. They're realizing these so-called deals the administration is parading around are nothing but handshake agreements, with no teeth and no follow-through. Remember what happened with China. Farmers got crushed. Then what? We bailed them out with your tax dollars. That's not America first. That's America footing the bill for poor planning. Trade is Congress's job. Period. Maria, one of the few actually making sense, said it plain. Power over trade belongs in Congress, not the White House, not some unelected bureaucrat. If we believe in the Constitution, and I know you do, then we've got to demand our legislative branch take back the reins. Global contraction equals lost opportunity. Let me be clear. I'm all for American strength, but shutting out the world while cutting research, cutting science, cutting innovation, that's a recipe for decline. We should be dominating the global stage, exporting the best products, attracting top minds, and waving the red, white, and blue over every successful deal, not hiding behind short-term fear and power grabs. Boeing and Microsoft show us the way. You heard it, 2 companies from Washington, booming. Why? Because they're innovating and selling globally. That's what works, that's what leads. And that is what America needs more of, not excuses, not tariffs, not ego-driven policies. The deals are weak, period. When the Wall Street Journal calls the administration's trade moves willy-nilly, you know something's wrong. We need structure. We need real deals, not headlines, not Twitter wins, not smoke and mirrors, fellow patriots. This isn't about left vs right. It's about liberty versus control. It's about restoring the American economy to its rightful owners. We, the people, not leaving it in the hands of one man's whim. I believe in strong trade. I believe in putting America first. But that doesn't mean shooting ourselves in the foot and calling it strength. It means smart policy, congressional authority, global leadership. So if you agree, stand with me, smash that like button. Subscribe for real patriot truth. And share this video to everyone who still believes in the Constitution, the free market, and real leadership. Drop a comment below. Should Congress take back power over tariffs? Let's make our voices heard. Not as sheep, but as lions. God bless America. You is a new day.